Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I haven't filmed a video on here in a while, but I thought that I'd do like an updated everyday makeup routine for chemotherapy patients because my last one was very like long, and also, I mean, this one's probably going to be long too, but I feel like I was really awkward in that one and it just wasn't as in-depth as I wanted it to be. So hopefully this one's better. I think I've changed a few things in my makeup since then. So I just really like doing this look for uni, or if I just want to go somewhere, I guess. I wouldn't say it's necessarily an everyday look because I don't think I wear makeup every day, but I really like doing this look for uni. And if you want to know how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Also, I just realized that Sam was sleeping behind me throughout this video, so if you see his little head pop up, I mean, I'm sorry, like you just get like a celebrity guest appearance. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want to know how I got this look, then keep on watching. So I'm going to start with prepping the base, because I think that during chemotherapy the skin becomes really sensitive, and I've noticed that with mine I have more redness around my cheeks and I've definitely got more dry skin. So I think before applying any makeup to it, it's really important to make sure it's hydrated, and I'm going to start with the Nip and Fab Dragon's Blood Fix Daily Cleansing Pads. Okay, so these pads have salicylic acid and I can't pronounce that, some other acids basically, that help to deeply cleanse pores and plump the skin and make your skin look really hydrated. I don't think that they're like necessarily very strong, like I don't know if they make a massive difference, but I just like how my skin looks glowy with them. The sunscreen that I use is the La Roche-Posay 50 SPF Melt-In Cream, and I really like the sunscreen because it's SPF 50, which I think is the highest you can get, and it's also really thin, so it sits well like under makeup. And I find that a lot of SPFs are really oily or like really thick and sometimes like make me break out, so I really like this one. And it doesn't smell like sunscreen. I can't stand the smell of sunscreen. It's also really important that you get it on your eyelids, because that's where you have like the thinnest skin, I'm pretty sure. So you want to make sure that this area is well protected, just all around your eyes. Sometimes I don't use a moisturizer if I'm doing my makeup straight after this, because this is pretty moisturizing, the sunscreen, but today I'm going to go in with a moisturizing spray, and this is called the Fresh Up Thermal Spray. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I'm just going to spray this all over my face because I don't really want to put on too much moisturizer after the hydrating pads and the sunscreen, because you do want your skin to be really moisturized so the base looks good, but at the same time, if you put way too much moisturizer on, then your base will just slip off or like separate. And so you want to have like a good balance between moisturized skin and not too much. So today I'm just going to use this thermal spray. I kind of look like a freshly hard-boiled egg right now, so I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. So the first thing I usually start with, makeup-wise, are my eyebrows, and I find that obviously apart from the many side effects of chemo, for me it was really hard to lose my eyebrows. And after doing treatment I got them tattooed because they never really grew back to their like original state. Like my hair was already kind of thin to start with, so when I lost them they like didn't really, I don't know, recover. So I got them tattooed. So right now like they're not too bad because like I might not have like actual eyebrow hair, but there's like some tattooed there. So I want to show you some tips and tricks that I used the first time I was undergoing chemotherapy with drawing on my eyebrows, because I find that it's really hard when you don't have a guide or anything and you just don't have eyebrows to kind of draw something on. It can usually look unnatural, and I mean, you don't have to draw on eyebrows. Like if you're comfortable like walking around just bare face, like that's fine, but I know for me, like I didn't like losing my eyebrows, and at the same time I didn't want to draw on these like very like unnatural looking wings on my face or whatever. I want them to look like kind of real. So yeah, I'm just going to show you like what tricks or whatever I use. But so I feel like there's 3 essential products that you need to making your eyebrows look as like real as possible. So what I like to use is a very thin brow pencil. Either the Anastasia Brow Wiz is really good, or the currently I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow. It's just a really nice thin brow pencil. And then I like to have a brow powder and just some kind of volumizing brow gel, but you want to find a brow gel that has little fibers in it because that kind of imitates the look of brow hairs. don't use like a gel, because that's not really going to do anything if you don't have like actual eyebrow hairs. Like you need, I feel like fiber ones are really good because they kind of make your eyebrows look bushy once you've kind of drawn them. I'll explain everything in a second. So I'm going to start with the Precisely My Brow pencil. And what I found, the best way to find where your eyebrow kind of should be if you don't have a guide is by taking the pencil itself and lining it up with the top of your nostril, just straight up. And that would be where your eyebrow would start. So I'm just going to put the pencil here and draw a line. So that's like where I don't want my eyebrow to go further than this. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. So just from the top of my nostril straight up. On some people you can like start further back. You just got to play around with it and see like what works on your face. So you want to line the eyebrow pencil with the front of your nostril, like on the curve, on this curve of your nose. So you want to take that and you want to go diagonally through your pupil, and that's going to be where your arch should be. So just make a marking there. So slant it against your nostril diagonally through your pupil. That's where your arch is going to be. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. My eyebrows are actually a bit shorter than this guide, but again, you can play around and like see, maybe you want to like drag your eyebrow out a bit longer, but I'm just going to do that. So, and don't worry about drawing these markings really big, because it's eyebrow pencil. You can easily like take it off after, or even like put concealer over it. It's fine. So next I want to take this eyebrow pencil and draw very thin strokes through my eyebrow, trying to imitate the look of hair. So when drawing the hair strokes up until your pupil, you want to draw them upwards, and then from your pupil you want to start slanting the strokes outwards to make, because if you think about it, your eyebrow isn't just straight all around and it's not slanted all around either. It's usually straight and then it starts to kind of slant. So like the hairs, I mean. So I'm going to do a straight strokes through my eyebrows and then stop at my pupil and start drawing them kind of slanted outwards. Don't worry if you can't get it right on the first go. This took me like a long time to be able to do. I think practice is always important. And the more you practice, the more comfortable you'll be at it. Once you start drawing the little strokes, you can rub out that guideline that you had, because you don't want like a very harsh first stroke. So and again, even if you don't have like eyebrow hairs, you can still use the spoolie on the end of the pencil, because it'll just help like kind of blend out the strokes so it doesn't look too harsh. And you don't have to do like full strokes either. You can do like little half strokes. Like you want to try and make this kind of as natural as possible. So then when you get to the arch, you want to draw the strokes like completely facing downwards. What also helps your eyebrow look more natural, I think, is if you take like the pencil and draw little strokes even outside the perimeter of your eyebrow to make it look like, I don't know, you have like outgrown eyebrows. So after drawing the little strokes, I like to take a brow powder, because I find that with a brow powder, the product doesn't lie very flat like a pencil, and it gives you some more texture, I guess, to the skin, so it makes it look more like hair. Because I find that with like brow gels, the product lies very flat and reflective, especially like under the light, so it doesn't look like you have any texture there, it just looks like skin. I like to take a brow powder, and I use the brow powder from the brand Be by Vanilla. It's a really good Korean brand, and I just really like this brow powder. There's about 3 different shades, and I'm going to show you how I like to use the shades. So what I like to do is take the little brush that comes in the kit, and I want to take the lightest shade and start by putting the lightest shade at the very front of my eyebrow. And then I want to take the darkest color and focus the darkest color on the tail of my eyebrow. that way by putting the lighter shade at the front and then blending it towards the darker color, by giving the brows more dimension. Okay, so to finish off the eyebrows, I want to take my Benefit Gimme Brow, and I've got the shade 3, which is I think a very neutral brown, because for my skin tone I don't like to use anything too warm. Okay, so I think that's finally it with eyebrows. Before I move on to anything else, I just want to moisturize my lips. I find that my lips get really dry because I'm dehydrated. And also just my skin is dry in general. So the only thing that really works for me is the Pore ointment. But moving on, I'm going to prime my face with the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. Oh, and I should probably show it. It's a really nice, it's actually like really aesthetic as well, but anyway, that's besides the point. It's a really nice primer. It has little shimmers in it, which really help brighten the face, and it smells really good. And yeah, I just like this as like an everyday primer. I find that it sits really well under foundation, and it's quite moisturizing as well. So I'm just gonna rub that in my face. So I just realized I forgot to put anything on my eyelids, and I find that with chemotherapy my eyes get really dry and crusty, and before putting on like primers or eyeshadow or anything on my eyes, I like to make sure that they're hydrated, because the skin is again really sensitive. So I like to use just any eye cream. Right now I'm using this little sample from Ole Henriksen. It's the Banana Bright Eye Cream. Remember, you don't want to get too much product on your eyes, because then the makeup will just slip over it, like it won't stick. So just lightly pat in the eye cream under the eyes. So once I've moisturized my eyes, I like to prime them, and I do that using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and it's in the shade Light. And this concealer is very drying, that's why I like to moisturize like the eyelids before. So I like to just blend that up to the eyebrow, and again, because we did the eyebrows first, if you did any mistakes with your eyebrow, it's really easy now to go in and clean those mistakes up with this concealer, because it's such high coverage. So I just want to blend that. So to blend this concealer in, I'm just using a synthetic slanted Morphe brush. I think it's the E21. So once you prime the eyelids, it's important to set the concealer, otherwise the eyeshadow you put on top isn't going to blend really well. So to set it, I'm just going to use the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm just going to take a very light amount on my brush. With this setting powder, I really like it for every day. Like, it's very light, it's not drying. A lot of powders can be really drying, especially under the eyes, but I find that it has really bad flashback, so I don't recommend using it at night. And also it smells kind of like apple cider vinegar, so if you don't like that scent, definitely do not get this powder. But yeah, so very quickly just set those eyes down. So because this is just like an everyday look, I don't want to do anything too crazy with the eyeshadow. I mean, personally I wear like crazy eyeshadow on an everyday basis, but I want this look to be wearable for everyone. So I'm just going to use my favorite neutral palette, which is the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it just has like a lot of browns and golds, just perfect for creating like an everyday eye look. So I'm just going to take the shade Warm Taupe, which is just a very nice, like, I don't know, like browny gray color, and I want to put that in my crease. So I'm going to I'm going to take like a fluffy blending brush, dip it in the color, and just tap off the product, because I don't want to have too much on my brush at once. Like, it's better to start with a little bit and just build up the color than to go in with a whole lot and not be able to blend it out. So just using a very light hand, I'm just going to blend this shadow into my crease. So I want to warm that crease up a tiny bit, so I'm taking the color Raw Sienna from the palette and just putting it where I put that other eyeshadow. And then to make sure that's all blended out, I'm just taking a big fluffy eyeshadow brush, with like no product on it and just blending over where that eyeshadow was. So I find that because I don't have eyelashes right now, I like to draw the attention to my eyelids, not really my lash lines. So to do that, I like to use a shimmery eyeshadow, and I recently discovered the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal Melted Shadows, and it's just like a double-ended stick. One side is a matte eyeshadow and the other side is like a shimmery kind of color. They have a few different ones, but this is like a rose gold shade. So I'm going to put that all over my eyelid up to my crease. So I don't want to go too high like to my brow bone, just keeping it as low as possible. And because this is a liquid eyeshadow, it's going to be wet, and I don't want to just leave it like that on my eyelid, because then once I open my eyes, it'll transfer because I have hooded eyes. So I'm going to place this on my eyelid and quickly blend it out with a flat brush. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm just taking that and then quickly, while it's wet, taking a flat brush and just blending that up to the crease. And you can be like really messy with applying it. The important part is just that you don't blend it too far up, because you want the shimmer to be mainly on your lid. So once you've blended that shimmery liquid eyeshadow, you can take just any shimmery gold or just any shimmery eyeshadow to basically set down that liquid. And I'm going to take the color Primavera from the Modern Renaissance palette and just very lightly pack that on my eyelid. So eyeshadow is almost done. Basically, since losing my eyelashes, I've found that I definitely reach more towards gel eyeliners and waterline eyeliners. A big tip if you don't have eyelashes is to concentrate your eyeliner mainly in the waterline where your eyelashes would grow from, to kind of mimic the line that you naturally have from eyelashes. So what I like to do is take this pencil and tightline my eyes. So just draw where my eyelashes would usually grow, like along the outside of the waterline, if that makes sense. So you want to take your index finger and very lightly lift up your eyelid and tightline your eye. For me, I feel like that makes a massive difference, because immediately there's something there to like frame your eyeball, because without it I feel like it's very like one-dimensional. Now it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. I just like doing this because it makes it look like you have eyelashes. So if you're undergoing chemotherapy and you've lost your eyelashes, I would recommend staying away from liquid eyeliner, because if you're not very experienced with it and don't really have a lot of practice using it, it's really hard to mess up, because you don't have eyelashes as kind of like a barrier between where you would put the eyeliner and your eyeball. And also you don't want to get liquid eyeliner in your eye, because that's going to hurt. So, and you also don't have eyelashes to hide kind of the mistakes. So I recommend using a gel eyeliner, one that comes in a pot like this. And this is the Maybelline Eye Studio. And I like to take a flat brush like this. This is called a smudger brush, I think. It's from Zoeva. It's the 226, and it's just a rounded flat brush. And I like to lightly dip this in my eyeliner and smudge it along my lash line. So I'm just going to take this mirror and just very lightly smudge it just above where you put that pencil. Again, you want to make sure the line gets thicker towards the outside of your eye. Otherwise, if the line is too thick from the start, your eyes are going to look smaller and more closer together. So we want the line to be as thin as possible at the front of your eye and get thicker towards the outside. So once you've done that, you want to take a flat slanted brush and dip it in a dark brown color. There's one in this palette, it's called Cypress Umber, I think. And just tap off as much product as you can. And then use that to go over the smudged eyeliner and try to wing it out. By winging it out, you're going to lift the corners of your eye and give like a nice cat eye effect. So once I've done that, I'm going to take my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, and although I literally have like 3 eyelashes left, I like to try put mascara on them because I feel like it's better than nothing. So I'm just going to very lightly coat my eyelashes. So before we move on to foundation, I just want to do some color correcting on my skin, and I find that right now, I don't know if it's because I'm dehydrated or just sleep deprived, but I have really bad under eye bags, and I like to conceal that with the Bobbi Brown corrector. And what it does is it basically kind of corrects the pupil under your eyes. So I'm going to take a tiny little synthetic blending brush and just focus that in the small area under my eyes, making sure to get product in this very inner corner because that's where you usually have the most darkness. So once I've color corrected all the pupil under my eyes, I want to try get rid of some of this redness, which I just have from dry skin, and I just naturally have redness in my skin. And I'm going to do that by taking this color wheel from Tarte, and it's called Wipeout. And I'm going to take this green shade, and I want to take a flat top foundation brush and take this green shade and just blend it over my cheeks. Not too much, I just don't like having spots of redness. Now everything's corrected, my eyes are done, I finally can move on to the skin. I'm taking my Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation, and I'm going to mix it with the Mecca Cosmetica liquid highlighter, and I just like to pump 1 drop of the highlighter and 2 drops of the foundation on the back of my hand, and just mix that together and just dot it all over my face like this. But I'm not blending it in with the brush because I'm going to take my beauty blender, and just for every day I want very light coverage, like I don't want anything too heavy. And I find to get the best light coverage and the most natural look, I like to use my beauty blender. And I'm just going to press that into my skin, making sure to press, not swipe the beauty blender. Oh my god, I just realized you can see my dog. He looks really bored. So, he's literally such a Leo, like of course you would try to get into my video. You're such a Leo. Once that is all blended out, I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer again, and I'm just going to put that under my eyes. And then I'm going to take my Real Technique sponge again. And I just find this is the best for blending out concealer because you get less creasing, less like, yeah, I don't know, it just looks really good. So, and basically the reason why I like to do concealer and foundation, all that after eyeshadow is because now you can take the concealer and go right up against your eye kind of and create whatever shape you want with that eyeshadow, so you can kind of pat it into a wing. I don't know if that makes sense, but do you see that? It's so much cleaner now. I'm going to now take my Hourglass powder again, and I'm just going to take this little Real Techniques setting brush and lightly, again, lightly, as you want to get the least amount of product as possible on your brush, tap it off and just pat it over where you put the concealer. Don't like go back and forward because that's just going to cause lines. You just want to pat that very lightly. And it's important to do this right after concealer because you don't want to give it time to crease. You don't have to set the rest of your face. I just like setting my face because I find that the foundation can move throughout the day. So very lightly I'm just going to take that powder. Also, I like to set around my temples and jaw. What am I saying? I like to set around my temples and cheekbones because I find that bronzer goes on better like on set foundation, if that makes sense. So before I move on to blush and contour, I just want to finish off my eyes and just get that out of the way. So I want to put something on my bottom lash line just kind of to round off the look, I guess. I feel like my eye makeup is always incomplete unless I do the bottom lash line. And to do that, I'm just going to take this Petite Eye Blender brush from Zoeva, and I'm just going to very lightly dip it into the shade Warm Taupe, which is what we used in the crease. And I'm just going to take that under my eye. Hi, I'm in the middle of filming a tutorial.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. Do you want to be in it?
Yeah.
You can say hi.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Erin.
Okay, well I'll call you back later because I've got like one eye done and then haven't finished this one. But yeah.
Don't forget, okay?
I won't forget. Okay, bye.
Oh, wait, my mom.
I'm going to take that shade Warm Taupe from the palette and just very lightly brush that on my lower lash line. So that's the eyes done. If you want, you can take the pencil eyeliner and put that in your bottom waterline, but I just, for every day, I don't like to do that. So now I'm going to move on to bronzing the face, and to do that, I'm going to use my Tom Ford Ultimate Bronzer in 02 Terra, and it looks a bit gross right now, but it's just like this big white square. I really like this bronzer because it's a really nice kind of neutral color, like it's not too cool and it's not too warm, so you can kind of contour with it, but I like it for bronzing. And I'm just going to take my Zoeva Luxe Sheer Cheek brush and just put that all over my, just get that right in the bronzer and tap off the product. And I'm just going to put that on my cheekbones and bronzing my temples. And what I like about this bronzer is not a lot of product kind of goes on your brush, so you can really build it up. Got that in my eye. And I'm just going to bronze the front of my nose a little bit. So yeah, I don't like to do anything too contoured or bronzed for like every day, so I just did a little bit. And now I'm going to take this peachy blush from, the brand is called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I think the brand is called Poop or Pooper. I don't know how to say it, but it's like this really nice peachy color, and I like to just take that color and very lightly blend it on the apples of my cheeks. I like how I like concealed my redness and now I'm like adding redness, but like it's like a nice redness. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Anyway, yeah. So that's done. Now for my favorite part, highlighter. I'm going to take the Dose of Colors highlighter in Fuego, and this is Desi and Katie's collab, and I've literally hit pan on it, and I'm really sad because it's limited edition and I should probably like not use it, but yeah, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to take this fan brush. Look how pretty it is. But yeah, I'm going to take this fan brush and just get that all in the highlighter and very lightly dust that on my cheekbone. And yeah, that's basically it, because I don't want to do anything too crazy on my lips because it's like an everyday look. I'm just going to take the Innisfree My Lip Balm. It's kind of like a lip balm with a tint in it, and the color is Wedding Peach Tea. And it's really nice. I think it like... Wait, I need to take my lip balm off. And it's really nice. I think it like adjusts to the temperature of your lips or something. You'll see in a sec, like... They'll get more pink. Do you see it? It's like a really nice light pink. Yeah, and I love the packaging. It's like so like simplistic and aesthetic, and yeah, I literally spend money on pretty products, and that's a problem. So to finish off this whole look, I'm just going to take my MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus and just literally bathe in it. So one second. Yeah, so that's done, and my battery's dying, so I better hurry this up because I still have to film my intro. But I hope you liked this makeup tutorial, and I hope it helped you, and I hope you try out the eyebrow techniques and like all that. But if that doesn't work for you, you can always buy like eyebrow templates from, I think Daiso sells them, and just on eBay or Amazon. But yeah, I hope you like this tutorial, and hopefully, I wouldn't say go back and watch my other tutorials because they're really cringe, but I hope you subscribe to my channel and comment below.